isn't any mirror here. It is... This guy's got a weapon. He's got a weapon.
So good morning, everyone. I am Leonard French, your favorite copyright attorney. We have a very special story for you today. Yesterday, I had a very strange encounter on the road. And these are, you know, I know I'm no foreigner to strange encounters on the road, but then again, the more people I speak to who move to my area from some other area, they say that everybody here drives insane. It's just an insane mixture of weird and different driving. Well, yesterday, a car tried to pull me over, and it turned out to be a fake police car and a fake police officer. And there was a whole encounter. I got it on video. I've reported it to the police. I'm bringing the video back to them today, and we're going to go over it start to finish. If you can't hear, he honked at me. And it's this silver Infinity on the screen with the yellow license plate. At the time, I'm really not thinking anything's wrong. I have noticed he's following me. At the time, I did not notice the plates yet. Then this happens. And I'm like, oh shit, oh whatever, I'll pull over. Look, I'm pulling over right here. It also happens to be where I'm picking up my food. I stop. Something doesn't make sense to me. Something doesn't feel right. Something's wrong. What's yellow license plate? Yellow license, what's... Those Pennsylvania state troopers, they're getting good. An unmarked car with New Jersey plates on... Wait a sec... Whoa, no, this... Whoa, there's no... Whoa, like, that's what's going on in my head right now, like... that's not a... That's not a... That's not a cop car. That's... My brain is just, like, exploding at this point. You can hear how fast I pulled out there. At this point, I'm trying to get away. I've realized I'm in danger. A very calming kind of fear has come over me. I am now realizing that I need to evade.
And at this point, you're pulling out your phone, right?
No. At this point, I'm evading. And it hasn't occurred to me that I should be calling the police yet. Around now, I've started, a sort of stubborn anger has started to kick in, and I'm thinking, I'm not just going to get away, I'm going to call the police and try to catch this guy. Like, I'm going to try to get them here and try to I don't want to escalate. I'm not trying to escalate. I need to just take control of what's going on here. And I realized something. At this intersection...
I got a fake cop trying to pull me over, a car with New Jersey license plates trying to pull me over in Pennsylvania.
Very public intersection.
I'm at the airport center on Airport Road by the BJ's. Thank you.
So at this point, I'm still in fear of some kind of fear, but I'm also feeling this sort of fatherly instinct to make sure this isn't something this person continues to do to me or to others. And so I'm willing to take the slight chances that I took here. In retrospect, this was all happening so fast that I wasn't I wasn't necessarily making decisions so much as I was trying to figure out what to do, and this was an attempt to control the situation. So I stopped my car here for a few minutes. In front of me is a major intersection. Cars are coming in from the left. You'll see it when we pull out. I switch to the front view. But there's cars coming in at full speed from one side. I'm trying to pay attention to what's going on behind me. My dogs are with me. There's traffic coming from all directions, one of which has the right of way at all times. There's no stop sign. And so I felt perfectly comfortable inconveniencing the people behind everyone in order to sort of make this a place where the situation could be taken under control. I was not trying to escalate. I was only trying to get some kind of control of the situation. I remembered to clear the windshield in the back. I don't remember doing that. I don't have that on automatic.
Hi. Yes, it's a silver Infinity. I'm at the airport center, and the guy was tailgating me, and then he followed me into a parking lot, and he's flashed some blue and red lights at me.
You can see the blue and
over, it looks like.
red lights in the middle of the car there still.
He's right behind me. I'm at airport center.
And I do block him here. That was probably not a good idea. I don't know. At this point, I'm thinking,
yes,
this guy's doing this to other people, and in this very public place, I have some kind of control over this situation. I do not recommend you do this if you encounter this. In retrospect now.
I'll try to get it in my...
I didn't realize what the danger I was in.
Any mirror here. It is... This guy's got a weapon. He's got a weapon.
At this point, I saw the crowbar. It's called the club. It is a steering wheel lock, so that if someone breaks into your car and the most they can do is steal something, but they can't get away with your car because they can't change the steering wheel. Well, go watch some locksmithing videos. The club is very easy to get around. They literally could just cut the steering wheel off and drive with what's left of the steering wheel. That's one of the ways. So he was coming to my window. Now, the club is a heavy piece of metal. It is a solid bar. It is a security device. It is a heavy piece of metal. It is most definitely a weapon that is capable of breaking my window and incapacitating me. I do carry various self-defense weapons on a spectrum of force. So I have usually with me some kind of pepper spray. This is the Mace brand pepper spray, triple threat or triple action. It has mace, it has CS gas, I think, and it has UV marking dye in it. So I have that with me, and I usually carry a firearm. I usually carry a firearm concealed on my person. I have various holsters and I've tried various techniques over the years to properly conceal a firearm without freaking everybody else out, without freaking myself out because I think I'm being conspicuous or something, and everybody's going to think I'm there for some illegitimate purpose, when really I just want to make sure that I'm protected, in the event that something like this happens. Well, yesterday, for whatever reason, I decided I was going to try a new holster that I haven't really worn too much before, and I haven't practiced with, and I certainly am not 100% tactically ready with. What I was using was this pouch. Now, I know YouTube and Twitch's community guidelines, so there is no firearm in this pouch. There's no gun, there's no anything. No one's going to see a weapon. We're not going to talk about that kind of thing. But when I saw that crowbar, when I saw the club, my first instinct was to start trying to open my pouch. And it took me about that long to get my pouch open and get my firearm out. And that is the 2 or 3 seconds you see here. Watch this again now with this context.
tiny mirror here. It is. This guy's got a weapon. He's got a weapon. He's got a weapon.
I don't know if you heard, I put my emergency brake on
he's got a weapon. He's
and
got
drew my firearm.
A crowbar of some kind.
I did not have to point it at him.
U41DWB. U4 uniform.
I did not have to point it at him. I believe he even left my window before I even got it out of the pouch. I think he saw, because the pouch, I mean, it wasn't tucked in behind me. It was tucked in front. So, you know, he sees me going for a gun-sized pouch on my waist. It's conspicuous. The only reason I've tried this in public sometimes is lay people really don't recognize it as a gun, and gun people are like, yeah, that's a perfectly acceptable way to conceal a firearm. So it's kind of an interesting way to do it. That's why I was trying it out. In retrospect, I hadn't practiced with it. I had never tried drawing a firearm from it under pressure. So that was a mistake. That was mistake number 2. Mistake number 1 was backing into that parking space and letting myself get trapped. Mistake number 2 was someone could argue that mistake number 2 was stopping here, but I live in a stand my ground state, and this is someplace where I'm lawfully allowed to be, so I'm fine here, in my legal opinion. This altercation had risen to the level of where I now believe this is a felony. This man needs to be taken into custody. No, that is not my duty, but I can certainly call the cops and try to help them capture him. I do realize I put myself in considerable danger now. In retrospect, at the time, I really wasn't considering. I was afraid, but I wasn't thinking of like, this guy's going to shoot me. Somehow I was not thinking of like, he didn't seem to be. I've encountered aggressive drivers before, and there was something that just didn't seem like this was that kind of aggression. If he had wanted to aggress to that level, there were other things he could have done before. This seemed just different or off from that level of aggression, and for some reason my read on the situation was that it was safe enough for me to try and stop here and call the police. I do not recommend.
So for the 183 people watching, 189, do not do what Leonard is about to do.
Also, that's also the other thing. I'm talking about having a firearm and how it made a difference. That is part of a complete breakfast. You do not just eat cereal for breakfast. You have a cereal, and you have protein, and you have vitamins, and you have fiber, and you have coffee, and you have all the good things that your doctor and nutritionist tell you need for breakfast. A gun is not the answer by itself. I am trained. I train regularly. I shoot regularly with my carry firearm. I make sure that I know how to use it. I make sure I hit things. I go to tactical night and train under pressure. Hi, Mom.
Break the tension.
I go to tactical night and we train under pressure. I train with U.S. Marshals, with Air Marshals, with state troopers, and with police officers. These guys ask about me when I don't show up. I haven't shown up in a few months because we've been doing all these shows and everything. And so I went to a shoot with Kurt a few weeks ago, went to 2 shoots actually with Kurt, and we saw some friends from there, and they said, hey, we missed you, you got to come back. So I'm definitely going this week. Make sure I brush up on my skills, because I don't ever want to have to pull that trigger. In fact, it makes me emotional to think that I was in a situation like this, and that this is what we train for. I chalk it up to training that I was calm, and that in the situation I was able to present myself in a way that deterred this person instead of escalated a threat. So, and
it's important that you tried to flee non-violently.
Yes.
Right. Like,
I did not get out of the car. I did not escalate. I did try to flee. Yes. There was a point at which after this bit of fleeing that I did, I wasn't sure what else to do. Like, how much further can I flee before what if I get into an accident? What if I, and then now somebody else is damaged instead? No, I can stop my car here. And if he doesn't escalate, then there's no further damage. So it's all on him now. Because I stopped my car, I have shifted the burden. It is all on him.
Uniform D1, uniform 41 Delta Whiskey Bravo. Yes, I do. I know exactly where it is, but he's not going to follow me there.
They're telling me to go to the state police barracks. And this is typical. This is normal. I've had them tell me to do this before. It's the safest thing for me. They're trying to make sure that I'm safe. And so guess what? That's what I'm about to do. I do disengage here in a moment, and I do go to pretty much straight to the state police barracks. You'll see what happens, though. All of this is an attempt to delay him enough that the state police can get here and get him. And it comes so close to working. And it still may work. I mean, we got the license plate number and the description and the picture and the video and my testimony, and I'm going back there with all this with my full report. So it's not over. But let's see what happens from here. And I just want to preface this next part here. This is mistake number 2. In the moment, I was still thinking, somehow I was thinking this person does not have a gun. But if he had, this was not. This was a stupid thing to do. This was the right part. Right here, where I pull into this lane behind another car, I should have stayed right here. This is the stupid part. I pull up next to it. And we're sitting at a light. If he has a firearm, he has all the time in the world to aim at my head. Stupid. Don't do this. Stay behind him. I could have just stopped 2 car lengths back. I could have stopped. I could have just waited there 2 car lengths back, even in the left lane. I did not have to go. At this point, I realized the police have hung up. I don't know. They told me to go to the state police barracks and then hung up. I don't know. I called back.
Yep. I'm being followed by a police car that's trying to pull me over, but it's a fake police car with New Jersey plates, U41 Delta Whiskey Bravo. I was on the line with the state police and I got disconnected somehow. I don't know. I'm driving to the state police barracks north on Airport Road, crossing 22. Yes, I'm still following this guy. Do you want me to pull to veer off and go to the state police? Because that's where I am at right now, is Avenue A or C or whatever. He's now in front of me. You're just right in front of you, right in front of you. The Skyline, right in front of you. Right in front of this officer. That Skyline, right in front of you. That's the Skyline, that's the Skyline. The Nissan Skyline that just went up there, the Nissan Skyline, U41 DWB, U41 DWB. Yes, that was the trooper. Leonard French. 610.
Now, yes, Sigint has caught it. Skyline is a Nissan, but the front of that car said Infinity, but the back of the car said Skyline. So which is it? I think he rebranded an Infinity G30 whatever.
Which is smart.
And at this point, the cop goes the wrong way. I didn't know it either. The Skyline went north,
Yes, okay.
and the cop went right.
Okay. Thank you.
And the rest of this is where I drive to the police barracks. And give my report to the corporal at the desk.
What's your heart rate now?
98. It's probably actually coming down.
I don't have a pin.
So yeah, a couple people made the point, and they're correct. If those plates come back to a real car that's registered to that guy, he's done. The only way he gets away with this is that it's a stolen car or stolen plates.
But we also have his face, and he has very distinctive features with the hair.
Yep.
So they can also just put out an APB on him as well.
Yep,
So,
and I have a very unique way of expressing myself, guys. I know some of you out there, including the lawyers, will tell me that I probably shouldn't be talking about this like this. But the other half of me is that this is sort of my contemporaneous expression of the events. Like, this is my way of expressing myself. I am so used to expressing myself in this medium that this is how I do it. I make videos. To be clear, I was not escalating any of that situation for the hopes of getting more of it on video. I genuinely wanted to catch a guy that probably was taking advantage of other people too. I was livid when about 30, I don't know, maybe 30 seconds or a minute. It's hard to tell time when you're under an adrenaline rush like that. But right in the middle of the thing there, after he flashed the lights and after I tried to get away and after he followed me, there was a point where Lambert the sheepish lion turns and fights. And that was my version of turning and fighting. I didn't want to escalate, but I was done at that point. I gave him a chance to leave the situation without escalating, and he escalated, and now, I mean, I would have pursued it to the fullest extent of the law anyway, but now he's escalated it into a multiple felony kind of thing. So, yes, I made some mistakes. I learned from those mistakes, and my next encounter will be even calmer. I think I handled this quite calmly for how I've handled some things in the past. I'm not going to advertise those things, but some of you have seen some of my other videos from my other channel where I have some traffic encounters where I'm not so calm. And so this I thought I handled in a much more calm and, dare I even say, mature fashion. And I didn't chase the cop. I wanted to. I really wanted to. You saw me pull into the lane and start chasing the cop, but I also wasn't sure where he was going. I thought he was going to the left. I wasn't going to just blow through the intersection after him. I really thought he was going left. If he had gone straight, I would have gone straight behind everybody. If he had gone left, I would have gone left through the intersection, you know, when it was safe. But he didn't. He went right, and so I backed off. I went right, and realizing that he had just torn off after the guy in the wrong direction, I went straight back to the police barracks. So I really feel like I demonstrated that you don't escalate these things, and other than that, I need to acknowledge publicly my mistakes in pulling up next to him the one time or parking in that parking, you know. I was realizing that he was a fake cop as I was backing into that parking space. And had I realized it a second or two before, I probably should have just kept pulling through the parking lot. There's an emergency exit, and I could have just kept pulling through the emergency exit. If the emergency exit was blocked, though, I would have truly been trapped, and then I would have been trapped in an alley behind the building. That would have played out differently, I think. So my intention was to keep the perpetrator as public as possible so that there would be as many witnesses if there was a thing, so that he'd be as deterred as possible by the public nature of the thing. And the rest of it was just trying to call the cops and get through the thing, and as it goes. I realize, and I've realized before, but definitely looking back on yesterday with today's 2020 hindsight, I was a person of limited perception during that experience, and I was operating in that base part of my brain, the amygdala, on emergency mode, I got the cold, cool shot of adrenaline, not the hot shot of, oh, we're going to fight now, we got to get a hot shot of adrenaline, get all pumped up. No, this was the cold shot of adrenaline, you are in serious danger, you need to get out. I felt this before when I was trapped with a choir director who felt it necessary to put his hands on me, and I realized how trapped I was back in 1991 when I was 11 years old. You can read about that whole story. We got him. He is in jail. He is set to be released, but he's been serving almost 3 years for his statutory sexual assault of underage boys. That's what they're officially considering it. I will stop short of pedophilia, but that's the word I would feel like using in my personal description of him. But technically speaking, it's hebephilia. But that doesn't change anything for me.
The best part of the video is when you race up to the cop, slam on your brakes, tell him where the guy went, and the cop looks at you for just a second and then just peels off. He trusts you. He goes. He chases the guy. He's like instant reaction. He's just like, let's go. So
that's awesome. That was awesome.
I was super impressed with that cop's reaction. He didn't ask any questions. He just listened and then went. And that was definitely the right way to handle the situation.
He was the cop that was being dispatched to me, so I get it's anticlimactic that we didn't catch the guy right there on the scene, but that was the proper way to handle it. He went off after him, and then when he lost him, oh well. He looked around a little bit for him. I remember because I waited 30 minutes for him to look around for him. I'm assuming I'm going to have a good experience today. I have faith that I'm going to have a good experience today and it's going to be taken seriously. I don't know if they'll catch the guy. I'm not have my hopes up, but I don't think they're going to give me a hard time. But I've also had good experiences. I've also had so many good experiences. You can go 10 miles an hour over the speed limit and nobody pulls you over as long as you're not doing anything else wrong. The troopers have given me a warning for going 75 and a 55 before. I've had so many good experiences with troopers and officers, with me as the attorney defending traffic people, trying to get plea deals for them in local courts in Lehigh County. So what's the lesson you can learn? So we have a wide-ranging audience from anywhere from teenagers up to about the 50s, 60s. We have our good core of our audiences in there. So if you are a young person, you need to know that you can still trust the cops when they pull you over. However, you need to look for these things. We saw so many warning signs. 1, it was an unmarked car. That's warning sign number 1. Any unmarked car should get an extra level of scrutiny. 2, he had those lights right in the center. Unmarked cars don't have just one set of lights. The whole car will light up like a Christmas tree. Go watch some videos. It's amazing. They fit those little blinker lights in every single orifice of the car. You can't miss it when you're getting pulled over by an unmarked car. Okay? 2, what does an unmarked car look like? You need to know what an unmarked car in your area looks like. In my area, they usually have 2 good front headlights. They're usually way too clean. And they usually have 1 too many antennas, even the small ones, on the back or the front. And once in a while, they actually do have markings on either the side or the back or the front, depending upon how they're used. If they're used in sort of side-on kind of thing, shooting radar at oncoming traffic, and then they pull out, they'll have unmarked sides, but their front and back will be marked. Sometimes they're a completely unmarked car. But if you see a combination of these things, you should be escalating your scrutiny level multiple times. And you should then be calling 911 and driving carefully and predictably and not erratically, but you should be driving on, proceeding on, and calling 911 and saying, I'm being followed by an unmarked car or a suspicious police vehicle. I'm not sure what's going on here. Or am I really being pulled over? Can you verify this? I'm happy to pull over. Don't pull a gun. Don't escalate the situation. You just keep proceeding, not fleeing, just proceeding until you find out that you have a genuine police officer. If there's any doubt, any genuine doubt. I don't mean make shit up. We've watched videos. I watched one yesterday where people tried to make 16 different excuses up, and then the officers got into an altercation with them, and it was only them escalating. The people who were continuing to make excuses were only escalating by refusing to cooperate with the officers who had a valid reason to be there. You can beat the time. You can't beat the ride. So, in this case, I identified that it was a fake police car. And the rest from there is my, frankly, amateur attempt to both flee and then stand my ground. I do live in a stand your ground state. You can't all do that. You need to look up your laws, talk to your attorney, talk to your sheriff, your police officer, your court system, and know what the standards are for your area. I know that I have stand my ground on my side, and that if I had decided to make that moment with the crowbar into a use of force moment, I would have had the law on my side. I don't want. That is, I would rather be hit with a crowbar than shoot a person fatally. However, I don't know that he's not going to use that crowbar fatally. So in that moment, I have to respond with the beginnings of lethal force. It is not a situation I wanted to be in. This is also not the answer to gun control. This is not a situation that I think clearly says, yes, guns solve problems. I could have put it in drive and pulled away. Yes, I would have been pulling away into oncoming traffic. Maybe I would have had a collision. Maybe that would have made it easy for him to beat me up with the crowbar then. I don't know. I was definitely trying to perceive the threat from the crowbar and the man, and being on the phone with the police and identifying, because I was in the middle of trying to identify the license plate. What I was doing, the reason why I didn't see him with the crowbar until he got to my window, was I was adjusting my side view mirror so I could see his front license plate and read it off to the officer. And since I didn't see him, once I looked back, I went like this. I was like, oh shit, and did one of these because I'm expecting the crowbar to come through the window, and so he won't be able to get it all the way through the window if I bend over, and there's this pouch with my firearm, and I need to get it open to get to my firearm, so it's sitting there. I'm doing it up here, but it's sitting there on my thing, and so I'm trying to rip that open, and he sees that, and I think that's when he briskly walked back to his car, and then he tried to flee. And I didn't want to block him more than that, but I was trying to delay him so that the trooper could get there. I wish my troopers responded even faster sometimes, but it is what it is. And he got away. But if that license plate comes back to a registered vehicle, and that vehicle is an Infiniti, and the driver or owner of that Infiniti is that man, he's done. I'm pursuing this to the fullest extent of the law, and I believe there were at least 2 felonies committed there. It could be that there are just too few troopers. That's also possible. That there was just no one in the area to respond, and so someone was being dispatched from the barracks, but they weren't ready yet. And I'm not blaming it. I'm not blaming it on the trooper. I'm just disappointed that they got away. But then, I'm assuming that this happens. People get away. We only successfully catch so many criminals. We don't catch all of them. So I have to temper my expectations and do my part to maximize the chances that this person will be caught and brought to justice.
And as a woman, I appreciate that. I'm not sure if guys get the same flood, but it's once a week I'll get a posting on my Facebook about what do you do if a fake cop tries to pull you over? because the way that it works, if you're a woman, there's, you know, some extra types of violence that are in the cards that are reasonable to expect.
Yeah.
And so things like, you know, calling 911 and saying like, yes, I know someone's trying to pull me over, but I want to get to a safe spot. I want to get to a spot where there are witnesses. I want to get to a well-lit spot. Or can you confirm that this is an unmarked police car? And people at 911, or if you have your local police on your phone and you just call them directly, they understand that extra bit of hesitance with unmarked vehicles. And it's not completely uncommon.
Yeah.
For people to ask for that reassurance.
Oh yeah, so Sonadors also makes a great point. 911, drive away if you're not sure. If it's some other things that told me it wasn't a cop, I didn't get the whoop whoop. I didn't get I didn't get a please pull over. You know what I mean? Like I didn't get any of that. So that wasn't a real cop. I confirmed that pretty quick. The other thing to add to what Tactical said, I'm not going to go into graphic detail here, but this is not an uncommon thing. People do put lights in their car. They do pull young ladies over, or young men. They do steal things from them or beat them up or just yell at them, or worse. Imagine a young lady who is fully compliant and being threatened, and what a man would be able to do in that situation. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. It is disgusting. It is dangerous, and I will be doing my part right after this stream ends. I'll be headed over to the barracks to complete the report with the raw video as well as this summary video and my verbal report. I don't know if I feel like writing up a whole report. I think they have to write one up anyway. So maybe I should write one up just in case. So I hate writing by hand. So maybe I'll just type one up before I go. A basic one. So questions. I'm assuming that there are questions, or I've already got a number of shout outs from you. Thank you very much for all the hugs and prayers and all that. This is not something I do. This is not, I just want to make this 100% clear. I do not have dash cams. I do not put together this footage because I want to create situations that are dramatic that I can put on my YouTube channel. Abso-freaking-lutely not. Actually, believe it or not, can I bring it in for a moment? And maybe I'll bring my volume down so I don't blast your ears. One of the things that started this YouTube channel was the dashcam stuff. I was putting up dashcam video before I was putting up personal YouTube video stuff, and then before I was doing lawful masses. And the reason why I got dash cams was crazy stuff like this would happen. And then I would go to my friends and family and be like, oh my God, I can't believe this crazy stuff happened. And they'd go, what did you do? And I was so offended, so invalidated that they would have the incredulity to accuse me right off the bat of being the instigator. Now, I'm not denying that I have either brake checked someone. Not recently. I've learned many years ago. You know, I brake checked somebody. I've definitely been a somewhat aggressive driver in my time, and I've learned and grown and learned from my mistakes. And I pay a slightly higher insurance rate for the little scuffs and scrapes I get into for it. That's all well and good. I've learned from that, and I have a clean freaking record for the past several years. The last thing that happened was my door got taken off in a completely unrelated, not, dry, non-moving thing. I was going to court, and I was eager to get into court on time, and I parked my car, and I jumped out of my car, and the door got taken off. And in Pennsylvania, that's my fault, not their fault. Even though I was in a box. I was in like a white box for a parking space, but that doesn't apparently mean anything. Like, my door didn't extend outside the box. The door was only open into the box. I was in my box, fully in my box. It didn't matter. I don't know. I disagree, but, I wasn't going to win that fight.
Everybody for the past about 10 minutes have been saying you need to hug a dog.
Okay, let's get a dog. Let's hug a dog. I have to zoom out. Niko. Niko. Where's my Niko boy? There's my Niko boy. Hop. Oh, my pants were slippery. He slipped. Doggo de-stress. Yes. Doggo de-stress. Oh, sorry, my my teleprompter is coming into frame. This is my de-stressor. This is my therapy dog, Niko. He gets all the hugs and pets and hugs and pets and hugs and pets and hugs and pets whenever I'm stressed out. He's a great therapy dog. He works as a therapy ball too. You can just squeeze him. He loves it. You can turn him into Dumbo the flying elephant with his ears.
And sometimes, like yesterday when you brought them over to my house, they use you as a therapy ball too.
Yeah, when we went over to see Brandon at Brandon's new place for the first time, and Niko was a little spooked. He's usually spooked in new places. That's my fault for not socializing him enough when he was 12 to 16 weeks old. You need to socialize your pups when they're 12 to 16 weeks old. Everything that you want them to be aware of. Teach them. Just teach them like they're little kids. Just go take them to the city, take them to the park, take them to the stream during their 12 to 16 week old period. That's when they need, and before. And that's 9 to 16 weeks. But the 12 to 16 weeks is the critical period where they develop their social anxieties. So he has a little bit of social anxiety about new places. It takes him about 15 minutes to calm down. And so when we got to Brandon's place yesterday, he cuddled with us for comfort for 10 minutes before he was willing to walk around and explore the place.
He almost fell asleep on my lap as well before we left.
Hello.
He was
Hello.
like really close to falling asleep.
Yeah, he was just putting his head in my lap again. He just likes to be a hugger and a snuggler and a cuddler. He's such a good boy. And he's now caught on my... Yeah, there we go. Hello. Yes. Here, let's turn a little bit so people can see your face. Oh, you're a good boy.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but this is science. Everybody's saying you need to check your heart rate now after petting Niko. You need to do the science.
96.
Oh, it went up.
Well, because he's moving his arms and
98.
switching, so it's more physically demanding. But the blood pressure usually goes down, even if the heart rate goes up, if you pet an animal.
Oh my god.
Yeah, blood pressure is probably not necessarily high right now. I'm feeling normal otherwise. I've been in encounters like this before, and I'm feeling less panicked about this one, but I am definitely still... the heart rate's not going to be coming down because I think I'm still on the adrenaline rush from yesterday. I think it's just I just have to wait either the half-life of the adrenaline or for my brain to stop releasing adrenaline or something. But my body and brain are still in yesterday's mode from the encounter. And I'm just exercising my override of all of those feelings to keep myself calm right now. But inside, I'm definitely still feeling very much confused. Confused is a good word. Emotionally confused as well. Because I can't even understand what I did to the guy to deserve to be threatened like that. Even if I offended him by not going fast enough on the highway?
Well, to be fair, he already had the lights in his car and stuff. So
yeah,
and he brought a weapon with him when he got out of the car. So he didn't get offended by you and then went and bought some lights and put it in the car and then came back. It's like he was already prepared to be a jerk.
Yeah.
And to do illegal things. So it's more like you did just enough to say, to make him think it would be fun if I did these illegal things.
DC...
Which doesn't have to be a lot.
DC Defused has a good question. Do you think things would have been different if I had used the mace? I did have this pouch with me, and I do keep that mace in that pouch. And I do have pepper spray on my keychain. And the reason why I didn't use that was I would have to put my window down or open my door to use it. I would have to wait for the window to be broken to begin using it, and that's when it would begin to take effect. So there's already the use of much higher level of force before I would then be using the pepper spray or the mace. So it was definitely an option, but that's why, and I'm not telling anybody else or giving anybody advice as to when you're supposed to, I don't know if that was the right call. That was my judgment. My internal judgment was I saw a crowbar. I wasn't sure if he was going to break my window and hit me with it, and I didn't think mace was going to do anything, let alone if you've ever... Now, you should do this. You should take your mace and you should take a box or something. I did it into the trash can the other day, and I just tap the button, and it just give it the slightest little bit of spray, and just stay away from it, and go like this, go like waft it into your face, and you'll feel it. You'll feel it stinging and burning, and that's just from being next to it. Imagine if you're the officer, the victim, and you go like, shh, and the person's standing right there. Imagine if I caught the inside of my car or my window. Imagine if it just blew, just the wind just blew it back into the car, and it hit him, but it hit me too. Yeah. That was not the right situation to use mace. No.
Don't do it in your house. Don't do it in your house.
Don't do it in your house. Do it outside. In fact, if you're going to get OC training, really do go get OC training from a professional. They'll have everything there to spray you, and then you'll experience it, and they'll teach you not to panic. They'll actually do some exercises while you are experiencing the effects, and then they'll have an agent that a chemical agent that neutralizes the spray.
I wanted to go back really quick to him being prepared to do this. I kind of feel like having the mislabeling of the car on the back was also kind of a part of that.
Yeah, so that was another weird thing. It was an Infinity on the front. It was probably an Infinity G30 series something or whatever.
G35, yeah.
And on the back it said Skyline. Or is it Skyline or Skylane? I think I said Skylane in the video. I know it's a Skyline. It's the predecessor to the GTR, and yours truly wants a GTR someday. Like a used one, but, for fun.
Yeah, it was by the way, I just looked up a picture. It was definitely the Infiniti G35 from the video.
So sometimes people do that because they've got like an ego or image issue, and they want to make their cheap car look like a Mercedes or something, or they want to make their cheap Mercedes look like a, more expensive Mercedes. I don't know what that gets you. Like, when you get out of the club and she sees your car and you're like, oh yeah, step into my Nissan Skyline, and then she steps in and it's branded Infinity. Are you just counting on her not knowing that? Lame. That's lame.
All right, we've de-escalated from calling the guy an idiot for pretending to be a cop to questioning his car fashion choices.
Yeah, well, yeah, or it could be that he rebranded the rear of the car to make it harder to catch him. However, the front and rear plates do match. They matched each other. The front plate and the rear plate with the same number. So I give it a +1 chance. I don't know what chance that is, but I give it a +1 chance that this is an actual person registered to that vehicle. If not, the cops are gonna have a conversation with somebody, and they're gonna be really freaked out about how the license plates got stolen or something. Find out.
And I think I already know the answer to this, but we do have people in the chat asking if you are going to update people as to whether the guy is caught or if you get any updates there.
Absolutely, this will be a major story on our channel, and I will update. I'll do a whole update video. If we go to court, I intend to get video outside the courthouse of him entering and things like that. Obviously, I won't be allowed to have a camera in the courthouse, but I'll set something up in my car and I'll park someplace and I'll leave it running so that we get to see, as much as we can. I'm not trying to escalate the drama. I just want to capture what happens. That is, this is how I express myself in this world, is to capture what really happens and then present it both with my commentary and with my edits and with for you to see and evaluate for yourself. And you see that this is not strategically edited to make things look different than they are. I try to edit as little as possible out. The stuff that's edited out is the uninteresting stuff. I even left in the part where he was tailgating me and I slowed down. I did not brake check him, but when people tailgate me, I definitely don't drive as fast as you know, everybody else is. You know, why should I reward somebody for tailgating me? Let alone, I want to be at a slower speed. If they really are going to hit me somehow, then I want to be hit at a lower speed.
And I'm
So,
gonna make sure
you can get upset with me, and you can, you know, for slowing down. That was the thing I did that made him mad. But I do not hide that from you, is what I'm trying to say.
I'm really glad that you're sharing this with us, because when something traumatic happens where, you know, it's very scary, things could have been a lot worse, you know, you could have gotten hurt, your dog could have gotten hurt, stuff like that. It's important to talk about it, to find the people that love and support you, and connect with those people, because having that debrief and having that support is really important to minimize that traumatic feel, I guess, in order to help you cope with this big thing that just happened. And so I think it's good, even though, you know us through the internet, we're still people who are listening, who care, who are trying to support you. And I'm glad that you're sharing this with us. I think it's very healthy.
I'm going to take a chance here. I haven't taken any live stream chances in a while.
Hi, sweetie.
Hello, I just wanted to call you back real quick and tell you that I'm okay, and that I'm in the middle of the live stream, and that I'll call you back later, and that I love you.
Okay, and when do you go to the barracks, or did you?
I'm going after the stream, probably noon or so.
Okay, we'll talk to you later.
Love you, bye.
Love you too. Bye.
There you go. I wanted to make sure Mom wasn't worrying.
Yeah, she did try to call you about a half hour ago. So.
Yeah, I left it up on the screen here too, and I'm like, I keep seeing it. I'm like, I should reply to Mom, and I was like, oh, I could just type a text message. No, I should probably call Mom, and so she can hear my voice and know that I'm okay. So instead of closing this video with a shout out to the sponsors by name, since this is sort of one of our more controversial videos, thank you very much to all of our sponsors. If you want to support our channel, you can support us on patreon.com/ljfrench, where I produce videos on various legal topics, usually something related to an online or copyright issue, something with video gaming or your rights, that kind of thing. We try to bring some bit of legal education in the form of a fun story. And so that's what we do here on Lawful Masses if you're seeing us for the first time. Normally we would have a big to-do about thanking all of our sponsors. You can go see how we do that in our other videos. But because of the serious nature of this one, I'm just going to thank everyone and close. So thank you very much for joining me. I'll see you in the other videos. I am Leonard French, your favorite copyright attorney. And keep being lawful, masses. Thank you.